So Minecraft Realms is now fixed, and Mojang are actually compensating people, but whether or not that's enough compensation is a different topic for a different day. Regardless of all of those shenanigans though, I have heard from so many people that they want to start their own Realm server, they just don't know what they're doing or what things they should be considering, and unfortunately for me, I started my Realm server at the complete wrong time. It's when all of the 1.21.20 madness was going on, but I have had some lessons along the way and some considerations that I want to share with you today in hopes that it will help you when you launch your own realm. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Number one is the concept of your realms. What is your realms about? Now obviously this might be an obvious one to many people, but before you launch your realms, before you start paying to run your realms, you need to understand what it's going to be about, and you need to make sure all of your players in that realms also know the vision behind what the server is about. Now just to break down some ideas for you, is your realm going to be a normal world where the community can bundle together and build whatever they want, or is it going to have a little more creativity behind it, such as floating islands for example, or maybe an underwater civilization, medieval kingdoms? It could be whatever you want with a storyline behind it, or it could just be a normal world, but make sure you figure that out before you launch it. When thinking about the concept of your realm server and what you want it to be based around, there is absolutely nothing wrong with whichever option you go for. If you want your realm to be a normal world with no storyline behind it, that is absolutely fine. And the reason I'm saying that is because even my realm has no storyline behind it. In fact, it's just a normal world where my community, my viewers, can join in, build whatever they want, and we create our own world together. Number two is to evaluate your finances. Now, if you play Minecraft a lot, you probably already know that Minecraft Realms Plus actually costs you £6.49 per month, and it gives you access to Marketplace Pass and allows you to extend how many players you can have on your realms. You might be thinking that £6.49 isn't a lot of money whatsoever, and to some people it's not. And by the way, before I go any further, I don't know what £6.49 is in dollars or any other currencies, so I apologise for that. I'm sure it isn't far off though, but what I'm trying to say here is just make sure you evaluate your finances carefully. Figure out whether or not you can afford that £6.49, not just as a one-time payment, but as a monthly recurring subscription, because let's be honest, when you get all of your players in that realm and it's full to the brim and they get dedicated to that realm, you do not want to waste your players' time and shut the realm down unexpectedly. Obviously your finances are important, so if you're midway through running that realm and you realise you simply can't afford to run it anymore, then fair enough, you might have to close it down, but that's why I'm saying make sure you prepare for these situations, make sure you evaluate your finances beforehand to avoid any mishaps and to avoid unexpectedly surprising people with the closure of your realm. Some players have even said they want a realm server of their own, but they don't want to have to pay the monthly subscription. At this point, what you have to remember is that you are paying Minecraft monthly to host that server for you. It makes it easier for yourself, you don't have to host it yourself, and obviously you're also paying for added benefits to that server as well, hence the monthly subscription. So just keep in mind it's a monthly recurring subscription, but if you can afford it and you can afford to make the best realm server possible, then it's worth it. Number three is your server identity. Now there are various ways you can adjust your server identity. For example, are you going to use any other resource packs other than the ones provided to you? There are various amounts of resource packs you can choose from, and even when you pay for the Marketplace Pass, you'll get access to a lot more. And just for your information, if you are considering using resource packs, make sure you use ones that are relevant to your realms. If you add a load of random ones that you simply don't need, you'll just overwhelm your realm server even more, and it will make it too buggy and too unplayable. And with that being said, obviously you don't want to make the realm too buggy and too unplayable because it will just get annoying, and you want to make sure that every single player in your realm has the smoothest experience possible. So yeah, don't neglect your entire realm just for the sake of one resource pack. And speaking of making the smoothest experience possible, number four is such an important one: rules. What rules are you going to implement into your realm server? Now obviously it's up to you how many rules you have in your server, but when you make the rules you need to make sure each one of them are clear and concise so that every player knows what they should and shouldn't be doing. This is where you need to be very careful when you are writing your rulebook. Obviously you want to make sure your realm server is a fair and safe place for everyone, but at the same time you don't want to come across controlling because you want to make sure all players have their own experiences. For example, here are the rules I've implemented into my own realm server, and you are more than happily welcome to take ideas from this. I've even got two forms, a feedback form, a violation form. I thought it'd be an amazing idea to have those forms there. Even if no one uses them, they are there if they want to use them, and I would highly advise you to do the same if you're looking to launch your own realm. It's probably one of the best ways you could generate feedback regarding your realm, and if any other players experience any violations to the rules, they can report those via the violations form, and then basically it would make it easier easier for me, the realm owner, to figure out what rule has been violated, who violated that rule, and what type of actions needed to be taken. Number 5 is your moderation strategy. Now, one of the things that stops people from starting their own realm is the fact that they don't have enough time during the day to moderate the realms themselves. But what if you hired a moderator to do that for you? Depending on how far into the realm you are and whether or not you're actually taking it seriously will depend on what type of employment options you give to your moderator, which of course is completely up to you. Now, currently I don't have a moderator for my own realm. I actually go into my realm quite a lot and really enjoy it, but it is something I want to look into in the near future, and I would highly advise you to do the same thing, especially if you don't have enough time in the day to moderate the realms yourself. If you are looking to hire a moderator though, there are various other things you should keep in mind, such as time zone difference. Are they in the same time zone as you, or are they in a completely different time zone? And does that moderator that you've hired have other commitments during the day? Now, the reason I'm saying this is because the moderator you have might not be able to commit the amount of time you want them to. In which case, in that situation, it is completely up to you to decide whether or not you want to hire that specific moderator, and if you do want to hire them, are you going to hire a second moderator or a third moderator to make sure that all the hours during the day are covered? This might be a lot to think about, especially during the beginning phases of your server, but it's definitely worth your time and consideration. Obviously, you want to make sure that all of your players are having a safe and fun experience, so is that going to be something you look into for your realm? I would definitely consider it. Number 6 is your promotion strategy. Basically, how are you going to promote your realm to potential players? Now, this could be an easy part for you because you might already know this, but you could use social media. I actually promoted mine via the community section on my YouTube channel. In order to make this happen properly though, you need to consider what type of people you are targeting. For example, I wanted my realm to be for my viewers only, so the only place I promoted my realm was via the community section. Therefore, that's the reason I didn't bother promoting it on any other social media, but the situation might be different for you. If you want it to be for your Twitter followers, then go ahead, promote it on Twitter, or should I say X? By the way, who actually calls it X now? Let me know in the comments. You've probably already got the message, but what I'm trying to say is just be mindful of who you are trying to target and who you want to allow to play on your realm. Think of it like marketing, but instead of it being for a business, it's actually for your Minecraft realm server. And if you're already a good marketer, then you're probably going to be really good at doing this. Number 7 is just to be mindful of griefers. Now, this is something we never want to think about, right? Because quite frankly, you put so much work into your realm, you do not want it to get ruined, but the chances are you will probably face a griefer at some point. Unfortunately, when I launched my realm for the first time, I experienced a griefer, and it was the most terrible thing ever because I literally put days and days and days of work into building the spawn area and everything like that, and basically everything I worked on, they undid it. Now, luckily Bedrock have this feature where it basically automatically saves backups that you can revert to at any time, so obviously I used that to my advantage and fixed everything that had happened, and therefore if you do ever experience griefers in your own realm server, I would highly advise you do the same thing, but don't always rely on the automatic backups. I would highly recommend saving backups manually as well, just so you have them there if you ever need them. But of course, not only do they ruin your entire realm server, they also ruin the experience for every other player on that server, so therefore if you do have a griefer, you need to understand what type of actions you need to be taking. For example, are you going to ban the player, or are you going to place them on a cooldown where they can't access the server for a certain amount of days? Number 8 is your avenue of communication. For example, are you going to use the in-game chat to communicate with all of your players? That's what I do because I don't use other services such as Discord or anything like that. Well, to be fair though, I probably should. But again, as the realm owner, that is completely up to you. If you wish to make your own Discord server for the realm, that is also what a lot of people do. I know many people who have their own realm and use Discord as their main point of communication, and it's completely fine if you want to do that as well. Obviously, it's not something you have to think about straight away. You can take your time and have a think about it, even well after your realm has launched, but it's definitely something you should consider. Number 9 is your player retention strategies. Now, what does this mean? It means keeping players involved, keeping players interested in your realm. What should be the reason they keep arriving back to your realm every day? And this is something you should definitely consider even before you launch your realm. And when I say this, I'm talking about community events, build challenges, hardcore survival challenges. There are so many options you can consider when figuring out your player retention strategies, and it's probably one of the most important parts of starting your own realm server. You might find that keeping people interested might be one of the most difficult parts of launching your own server, but even just asking your players, what do you want to see more of in this server? What do you want to be involved in? that interaction alone goes a very long way. And last but not least, I have already talked about this one briefly, but number 10 is the importance of backups. As I said before, backups are important just in case you do ever get griefed and you have to revert back to that backup, but that's not the only reason why they are important. They're also important just in case your world gets corrupted and you have to revert back to that backup to fix that issue, or if there are any issues with new updates that Mojang released, such as, 1.21.20. If you look after your realm, the realm will look after you in the long term, and this is definitely, without a doubt, one of the main ways you can look after your server. Don't forget what I said before though about automated and manual backups. If you play on Bedrock, it will automatically back it up for you, but what if the game glitches one day and it doesn't do that? Well, if you create a manual backup, at least you definitely know you've got a backup there that you can safely rely on if any of that issues occur. You might think it's a lot of hassle to do that, but personally I would rather go through the hassle of making manual backups than going through the hassle of losing my entire realm and never being able to get it back. But anyway, hopefully this video helps you out when starting your own server. I wish you nothing but the best with it, and also let me know in the comments which bit of advice really helped you out the most. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see another one from me, you can click this video on screen now, or if you want to watch my duplication glitches, you can also click this playlist on screen now.